What's up YouTube? I'm Vaughn and this is the Gear channel where we discuss collectibles, hobbies, competitive games from tabletop to video games, and today we're going to be showing you C.O.D versus Agnister, and most importantly, how can C.O.D be a giant 4K beta that's unaffected by card effects. So in today's video we're going to show you how to deal with these type of monsters, and especially with this one, since we do actually have a few interruptions as well, as you can see, and even in the graveyard, so it's going to be a big challenge. Now sadly this video is going to be just one game and not the full match, because this is actually game one. Our opponent started, just finished his turn like this, and game two he starts again, does all his shenanigans, which I really don't want to review actually, and we just simply do Mystic Mine and just play without interruptions, and he admits defeat. So it is a very fast game two, so that's why I didn't really bother doing the whole match and just cut to the point of dealing with this guy. So first, friendly reminder to definitely like and subscribe, and especially subscribe if you guys want to enter in our amazing giveaways. So, starting first, our opponent does have an Ash and an Effect Veiler, so two interruptions in hand. He has this Monster Reborn card, plus he has this interruption when his monster leaves the field, and also an extra Effect Veiler since he does control a level 6 Link monster, not level 6, Link 6. There we go. So, definitely there was a lot of thought, because I was actually thinking of scooping, because 4,000 attack unaffected by cards, how can we get rid of this monster? And it took a lot of debate and seeing if it's very possible. So then I actually found only one way to actually get rid of this, and especially that we might potentially deal with interruptions. It was worth the shot, so I decided not to scoop and to play it through. So first we do have the Rocket Tracer, Night Sword Serpent, White, Kage Tokage, Reptilian Cult, and Chaos Levineer. And this is actually the perfect hand to deal with this whole situation, and especially dealing with this guy. So first off, we're going to go and normal summon the Rocket Tracer. So that's going to trigger a Kage Tokage, since a level 4 was normal summon. So we're going to special summon the Kage Tokage. Then we're going to go and special summon the Reptilian Cult, since Kage Tokage is a dark reptile. So special summoning that. Next, we're going to go and link the Tracer for a Striker and attempt to use Striker's effect. But sadly, it gets Effect Veiler, which actually really hurts, because we really needed the add the Tracer back to hand play. Not really the boot, but the Tracer add to hand is very important. So that gets negated. So our only play that we could do now is actually to summon the white. So we're going to do that. We're going to banish, special summon. We're going to link those two for a Romulus. And we're going to do Rom 2 and White 1. So we don't get any more interruptions. And we really need that Black Serpent to hand. So that's why it's Chainlink 1. So get the Dragon Ravine. Get the black. Go and banish for the black. Now we're going to overlay those two for King of the Feral Imp, and we're going to go and use King of the Feral Imps to add a reptile, which is very important. Now our opponent is not chaining Ash or anything to King of the Feral Imp, is because it's very understandable. He's probably waiting for the bigger stuff to actually hit, because he sees the Dragon Link, so he knows to expect the Chaos Rulers and even Zombie Vampire, those type of monsters. So he's definitely holding those for those type of cards, but at the same time, you don't want King of the Feral Imp to resolve, because that just fill up or follow up plays even more. So it's definitely a good card to hit majority of the time. So he lets that pass. Now we're going to go and add the Naya, and we're going to definitely use the Naya to send the curse. So sending our curse, everything is all good. Now we're going to use Curse Effect to tribute to special summon. Our opponent chooses not to special summon a monster, which not really a big deal, but he should have. He would have actually survived if he did. So we're going to go and use Curse Effect now to special summon the Naya, and now use the Naya's effect to go and add the Ogdoadic Strike. So we're going to activate the Ogdoadic Strike in case our opponent has more interruptions, more hand traps. So we're going to go and try to synchro. He did say wait, so It gives the okay now, so we're going to go and synchro. And we're going to make Chaos Ruler, which is going to be hit with a Ash Blossom. Now, I did do a misplay, and many times I do forget to activate my strike when a monster is sent to the graveyard. Usually, I always remember when it's involved with zombie vampire, but besides that, there's many times I always forget, or if they ash like one of my foolish cards. But this is why it's very important to always remember to use the trigger effect of when a monster is sent to the graveyard. Now, our opponent was nice enough to actually let that slide and allow us, because I did this and send it because I remembered to use strike and I trigger, and he said it was okay, so I was like, fine. But always remember to use your ogdoadic strike. In person, it's not really an issue, but on DBA, I've been forgetting a lot of times though. So now we're going to go and Foolish the King, and now we're going to make Zombie Vampire, and we're going to try and use Zombie Vampire's effect, which is actually going to be negated by this effect Veiler, pretty much. So if you guys don't know what it does, when you have a Link 6 monster, you can banish it, quick effect to negate a face-up card. So he's negating the Zombie Vampire, but that is okay because we still have a lot of plays that we can do. So what we're going to do now is go and special summon the VaughnGear, and we're going to choose to hand loop our opponent. Now the reason why we're choosing that and not to pop the back row is because, well, one, this does nothing. If we actually if we pop this, it would be a waste of a pop. We could hit the back row just in case, but then they were probably most likely forced to activate this. But I really want to hit the hand just in case if we can't game our opponent, at least they won't have that much follow-up play. And that's the only reason why I actually went towards shuffling card in the hand instead. So after we're doing that, we're going to go roll the dice, hit his spell card, so it's perfect. And then we're going to link our two monsters for a seal. And now we're going to use King's effect to tribute our two monsters to spell summon our ogdoadic King. Now, since Seal is tributed, we could use Seal's effect to spell summon. And this is where everything comes together, because our whole point right now is to fill the field as much as possible. And you saw that we only had two monsters, so now King is going to definitely change that, and Heraldic Seal is going to spell summon Omni. Now, let me tell you, Omni and Night Sword Serpent are the best duo because Omni's discard is not a cost. The cost is to target. So if you discard Night Sword Serpent, you actually get Night Sword Serpent's effect to spell summon himself, since it was sent to the grave by an effect. So Omni is actually going to use the effect to target King. And the reason why we're doing that is because we want to add a light reptile. So we're going to go and discard the Night Sword Serpent. And we're going to get our Nunu, since we did not use Nunu at all. So we're going to go add the Nunu. Night Sword Serpent is going to trigger. So trigger Night Sword Serpent, special summon himself, and now we're going to go and use Nunu's effect to go and Foolish, and we're going to send a Zoa now. So that's sent. Now we're going to use Nunu's effect to special summon, since we do control one ogdoadic, and we're going to do exactly that. So special summon, and we're locked into reptiles because of Nunu, while it remains face up on the field by this effect. You can only special summon reptiles, so we're going to overlay it for a King of the Pharaoh Imps. And this is why you play two Kings of the Pharaoh Imps, because there's so many situations that it's very beneficial to actually have two King of the Pharaoh Imps, or even three. It's not worth playing just one. If you're playing ogdoadics, you should be playing at least two or three King of the Pharaoh Imps. Me, I play two because I think two is perfect, but you should not be playing only one of this. It doesn't matter what kind of ogdoadic build you have, you should always be playing two. So now we're going to use our King's effect to add a danger. So now we're going to go and use Dragon Ravine, discard the danger for Dragon Ravine's effect to send an Abs, and it's going to be Abs Chainlink 1, Danger Chainlink 2. Technically, it should be the other way around in case our opponent has, I don't know, a Ghost Bell in hand that he's been saving for the longest time. But we're going to go resolve those, and we're going to add a Tracer. Now everything's all back on schedule. We were trying to get a Tracer back into hand. We found a way to get a Tracer back in hand. So now we're going to go and link everything up for a nice Saruja. So we're making Saruja because we just need that extra special summoning. We don't care too much about the draw. The draw is nice, but it's not really necessary. So we're going to go and use Saruja's effect to draw 4 and put 3 at the bottom. So we're going to go and keep our quick launch. Now use Saruja to special summon the Tracer. And now we're going to go and use our Ogdoadic Serpent over here to send our Saruja to the graveyard, because we need to find a way to put Saruja in the graveyard. And we can't do the Pitsy play because we already used a 2 Link 2 Dragon monster. So if we made Pitsy, we would actually be locked into dragons, and that would actually screw us over big time, like at the moment. And we really need to get Saruja into the graveyard. So we're going to actually use Ogdoadic Serpent to actually send the Saruja to special summon the king, because the king is just an extra beat stick. But also, in case on our opponent's turn, if he decides to add, we could definitely hand loop our opponent a bit. If they do more linking, we could actually plus off a little bit as well. So we're using the king just for that extra beat, okay? So after that, we're going to go and use quick launch. So activate quick launch, chain tracer, so we can still summon 2 monsters pretty much for free. So we're going to do exactly that. So now we're locked into dark monsters for the extra deck, which is not a big issue, since I'm pretty sure all what we have in the extra deck now is just dark monsters, except for maybe Stereo Omega in it, but it doesn't matter. So now we're going to go and synchro 2 level 4s to make Savage, and Savage is going to target Saruja. And by equipping Saruja, Savage is going to be 4,400 attack. And is going to have 4 counters, so potentially can do 4 negates. Not all in one turn, but still, it's nice to have 4 negates. And now we're going to use Chaos Ruler to special summon. And now our opponent is going to chain the call, because if he did not, then we would make Hot Red, and Hot Red would just negate it. So now we're going to force to actually negate Rift of Savage, which we're going to do right here. And there we go. So that's all done. And we have a monster that's 4,400 to a 4,000 beat stick. We have already 3225. This is already 5,700. So that actually already gets rid of this. Now, the sad thing that our opponent did was when we attacked, you're going to see in a second. So he's going to take only 400. I think he does a little bit more, but it doesn't really matter. So he does 400. The thing that's odd is when he uses this, he actually targets Savage instead, which makes no difference. Now, if he actually did target, let's say, Hot Red would probably be the proper choice. So that we're actually, so we were still attacked for 25. And we're going to still have a extra negate. Plus, if we check in the graveyard, we do have a few follow-ups for our next turn. So we could definitely do a lot more plays on our next turn. Opponent-wise, not too much, especially with this. So he has a few plays, but it's definitely won't be a big combat, and especially not a game changer. So this definitely guaranteed the game. And our opponent actually goes and admits defeat, because right away he targets that, and we could just attack with these 2. And also, if this deals damage, we could actually special summon a tuner, so that could actually build even more follow-up plays. And that is it. So he admits defeat, and it's all done. Like I said, game 2, he starts, does his whole play, but this time summons more monsters and ends the board with that. I just go Mystic Mine him, and that's pretty much it. And he admits defeat. And that's it for our video of how to get rid of an annoying beat stick, and especially one that's unaffected by card effects. It's very hard to do. Now, if you guys enjoyed today's video, you know what to do. Like and subscribe, and especially subscribe if you guys want to enter in our amazing giveaways, or if you want a sneak peek of future products we're planning to review here on the channel, you can follow me on my Instagram, VaughnGear. I'm Vaughn, and this was the Gear Channel.